Oddelka, lahko na akademiji in oddelku za oblikovanje. Pustimo profesor Dr. Karl Stocker.
Thank you, Boštjan, for the invitation. And yeah, I say hello to you. I'm happy that so many people came here to listen what I have to tell you. Okay, you see, it's about the contributions of university to cultural city development, the Graz Case Study. And in the next 45 minutes, 1 hour, I want to talk about these 4 topics. First is a very short intro to Graz. Second is I want to talk about the European Cultural Capital in 2003, because this was really an innovation step for our city. I want to talk at third about the Graz UNESCO City of Design. Does anybody of you know that we are UNESCO City of Design? No? One. Okay, so not, okay. Yeah. That's interesting. And fourth, it's I call it Case Study Graz. What can university participate, yeah, in something like big cultural events, in a, I say, movement to direction City of Design? Are universities able to participate? And I think this could be also an interesting topic for you here in Ljubljana, because Ljubljana is, I think, about 300,000 inhabitants, like Graz. We are the so-called second cities. Yeah, we are not the very important cities, but we have to look for new ways that we can live, that our students can live, that our students can find jobs, and that we can develop a city for, I would say, a better life for all the people in a city. That's what is my goal for today. Okay, I start with a short intro to the city. Yeah, as I mentioned, it's about 300,000 inhabitants. What's interesting now, Graz starts to be a little bit globalized, because we have at the moment 160 different nationalities in Graz, and we have some quarters in Graz which are really, like you can say, multicultural, with a lot of people from different countries. And for young people, some of the quarters is like a little bit like Berlin, Kreuzberg, or Friedrichshain, or Prenzlauer Berg. Yeah, so it starts in this dimension. Yeah. Graz is, I think, it's really a mix between old and new, tradition and innovation, handicraft and high tech. Yeah. You know, the history of Graz is not a very nice history sometimes, because the big Führer, yeah, Adolf Hitler, was very impressed about Graz, because we were a town with a lot of Nazi people. Yeah. And that was we had the name, the Stadt der Volkserhebung, the town where the people stand up, because 1 month before the Nazi conquered us, on our government building there was the Nazi flag. Yeah. And what you can see, we have some faculties still which are on a very right direction. But this was also a climate for cultural innovation. Yeah? Since the 50s, we had a lot of, I would say, very avant-gardistic art projects and art initiatives. We had a lot in literature, in music, with the Jazz Academy. And you know, with this, on the one side, very conservative minds in the city, and the young people who came there for study, and going in creative studies, it was really something like, dynamic. And the same with handicraft and high tech. But it's not a town with a very big industrial impact. Yeah, it's not like in Austria, Linz. Yeah, it's really more conservative town. And in 1900, Graz was called Pensionopolis. I don't know how to translate. You know, the retired people went there because there was nothing. Yeah, just nice air, no noise, and a good climate. That's it. Yeah, and they lived in very nice houses, waiting for the dead. Okay. So, and what also is important, we have a very wide spectrum of museums and exhibition venues. And the thematic areas, they're really from art to history, technology, and science. It's a lot of galleries, so it's really a cultural city, Graz, at the moment. And what also is important, we are a university city. We have about 50,000 students, and this is really a lot. So you think every fifth person is a student. And we have these universities, the University of Graz, Technical University, Medical University, University of Music and Performing Arts, the FH, the University of Applied Science, Joanneum, where I am from, and the campus, it's also a University of Applied Science, all in all 55,000 students. This is my university. It's in an old, in an old building, and in I think 5, 6 buildings like here also, but it's on one place, and it's on near the railway station in an old industrial area, which I like very much. I like this more than to stay in the middle-aged town. Yeah. Our department is the Department Media and Design. We have these study programs. One master program, Communication, Media, Sound and Interaction Design. One master, Content Strategy, Exhibition Design Master, Industrial Design Master, and Bachelor program, Information Design and Journalism and Public Relations. These 3 study programs is our institute, Institute Design and Communication. I'm the head of this institute at the moment. And I'm the head of the study program Information Design and Exhibition Design. So how to become the head of the study program Information Design? You have to study history. You have to study contemporary history. Yeah. I would say I have a really postmodern career. I studied humanities, but I'm now in a design department. Yeah. And I think I say it's good for the design department that I am there, because we are no design idiots. Yeah? We don't think that design is best in the world. We think design should help the people for a better life. And so the humanities are really important, because design, yeah, it's not Philipp Stark only. Yeah? You know this Zitronenpresse? Yeah? This is postmodern styling, no function, but expensive. This is not what I stand for, because I am conservative. I come out from humanities. Yeah, I want to change the world, maybe. Let's see. Okay. You will see what we are doing. Okay. I start now with the European Cultural Capital. Does anybody have visited the cultural capital? I look to you. Yeah, in 2003. Yeah, these are some of the, I would say, assets a cultural capital should have. Cultural capital should consolidate the identity of a city as cultural capital. This is one important thing. Cultural capitals should strengthen its overall self-confidence. So it's really important that the people in a town got self-confidence. The city should be noticed all over Europe. This is also important. And you should establish the city as a European cultural center. this I can say it really happened, because after Cultural Capital 2003, 28 German cities wanted to apply as cultural capital for the next years. Yeah, it was really in an international. People knew what was happening in Graz. Very important is to guarantee the best quality coupled with high acceptance. Also very important is that you offer culture as a positive confrontation with life to a large and wide audience. So it's really important to have participation projects to involve the people of a town. That it's not only like Salzburger Festspiele or so. Yeah. Then important is to develop the positive aspects of the town and take care that the citizens enjoy it and promote it as cultural capital ambassadors. These were the principles of a cultural capital. And when I tell you what happened there, I have to tell you that you can see it also now. What really happened were these architectural projects, because with the cultural capital, our city got the possibility to build new architecture. And we have, I think everybody whoever was in Graz know this, we call it the friendly alien, is the so-called Kunsthaus. It was opened in 2003 in November, so just before the finish. But it was the same year, and it's a building by Peter Cook and Colin Fournier, and it's I think it's really a very interesting place, who is something like a very important symbol now of the city of Graz. And you, I think, also know the Island in the River by Vito Acconci. It's a New York artist who built this river. This is a funny project because the Graz people don't use it. Yeah? So if you visit me in Graz, I would say, let's go for a drink to the island of the... Yeah? But I never go by my own there. You just show it to tourists. It's funny. Huh? It's not really accepted by the people from Graz. Yeah? Then you have the Helmut List Halle. Yeah? It's an old industrial building, and it's now a very good concert hall, very special with a very good acoustics. Then the Children's Museum. It's a project from Hemmer Fasch and Jakob Fuchs, and it's a children's museum which works very well. And then you have also the City Hall. Yeah? These are I would say, the most impressive buildings happened at that time. And very interesting, we have 700 submissions. You know, there was a curator, an intendant, and 700 submissions were done to participate with an art project or a project in the cultural capital, and 108 projects were selected. And the goal was to link the local art and cultural scene with the international art world. This was the goal. Let's see what happened. From nowadays scene, I think that so-called Theater im Bahnhof, they had at that time a really good stimulation. They are still famous now in Austria, and they started with their first big projects during 2003. The same with the art gallery Rotor. Maybe some of you know Rotor because they work a lot with eastern and south from Graz projects. Yeah, they have a lot of connections in the art scene of I don't know if it's to Ljubljana, but maybe Zagreb. Yeah, they have a lot of exhibitions there. But what at that time did not work was the connection with the universities. Yeah? At that time, I was not the head of this department. I was a freelancer, and I did one project, the project Universum. We wanted to invite I was the curator of this project, and we wanted to invite the university to participate. But they didn't want. They only want to have some money, maybe to have a lecture, to invite somebody for having a talk. But they didn't have any ideas, to promote what they are doing in a different way as they usually do. So they gave us 200 projects, and we decided only to finance 4 projects. And 196 projects, we said no money for that. So that is the reason maybe why I'm not so familiar with the university now, because we said them, no, it's not worth to be in a cultural capital. We had only 4 professors, but a lot of students in this universal project. This was a project which lasted 48 hours. We invited students, gave them some money to have a project, and then we presented the projects in 48 hours without sleeping. And this was really great. I by myself had 2 other projects. And for me, it was really like in the beginning, I thought, cultural capital, I don't know if I want to participate. Then they asked me to force ideas. And I did this project, The Mountain of Memories, not in cooperation with the universities, but as a university professor. And this was something like the participation project. Maybe you know the Grazer Schlossberg if you haven't been in Graz. This is this big mountain, or this little mountain with a church on it. And this part of the Schlossberg is a system which was built, a tunnel system, which was built in the Second World War by people who get captured from other armies, and I think it was really a very bad situation for them to work there. And this was something where the Graz people went if it was a Fliegeralarm. If the planes came with the bombs, they went here. And this was the first time we had to arrange an exhibition here. And we invited the people from Graz to give us their memories about the development of the city in the last 100 years, their personal memories. We had an office of memory. They came, but we also went out to get information. And okay, it was really a very interesting exhibition because, as you can see, these objects are maybe not normally used in cultural exhibitions. So this is, as you can see, just a pot. And this pot was used in 1978 in the fight against the Austrian nuclear power station. This guy went with this pot just to paint a fish. He put paroles on the wall with that. And we put it in. We made like we put it in a cube, put light on it, the color, and so we introduced it as not an art object, but an important historic object. This was really interesting because there were so many ideas from the people came, and it was something I would say like it was really from the daily life of the 20th century in Graz, and people liked it. We had 100,000 visitors. It's the catalog. And the third project I was involved, and this was my idea, was the project Inside Out. It was a dance theater from Sascha Waltz from the Schaubühne in Graz. It's a choreographer, and in the meantime a very famous one. And I invited them to work together. I got money from the cultural capital to work together. And Inside Out means we did a project that we interviewed all the dancers of the companies, and the dancers were very interesting people because they were from 13 dancers from very different countries, and we asked them about their identity. Yeah? And Sasha Waltz developed a theater piece which was shown at the Listhalle in Graz, in the Steirischen Herbst at the opening, afterwards in the Schaubühne in Berlin, and then in Avignon at the theater festival. It was really a very great project. And for me, as a guy, a local guy from this town, it was really something like, oh, you have an idea, you get money to develop it, and let's do it. This was the really, this was 2003 for us, like the power. And with two colleagues together, we did a book where we published all the biographies, and it was a really, really cool project. Okay, now let's switch to third, Graz 2011 UNESCO City of Design. Okay, why a city like Graz should apply as a city of design? There are some reasons. We have a really economic and social change, and this change starts to be much stronger in the last years, and also I think in the future. Cities try to find new ways for developing, and it's really important which image as a city you want to promote. So Graz 2003 was very successful, and that was the reason that some politicians in Graz were thinking about maybe we should invest in culture and design, and some guys had the idea to apply as a UNESCO City of Design, just for promoting the city. So design and art are booming, design city branding, and for us important to get creative people to our town, and also getting tourists. This is important also for a town. And network activities. So, which town is able to participate? There are these criteria. You have to have an established design industry. You must have a developed cultural scene with adequate buildings. As you could see, we have it now in Graz. You need design schools and design research centers. That's why I am involved in this project. An active creative scene, design-oriented trade shows, events and exhibitions, advantage of local materials and urban national conditions, and you need a design-oriented creative industries. And in 2005, the UNESCO City of Design, the first city was announced. It was Buenos Aires, and 6 years later, Graz was announced. And it was not an easy process, because we decided to do the process open. So we told the people that we want to be design city. So if they wouldn't have accepted us, it would not have been funny. But they accepted us as the 11th city, and this is the network you have in Canada, Montreal, Buenos Aires, South America. In Europe, it's Saint-Étienne, Berlin, and Graz. In Asia, we have in China, Shanghai, Shenzhen, Beijing. Does anybody of you know Shenzhen? 13 million people, and the overall age of the people is under 30. It's a really totally dynamic town, city. It's just behind Hong Kong. Yeah. Then we have in Korea, Seoul, and in Japan we have Nagoya and Kobe. Yeah. This was the network till December or till 3rd November 2014, and now we have 5 cities more. They have been accepted and announced. It's Bilbao, Curitiba. I have to tell you, I haven't heard about Curitiba before, but Curitiba is a very big Brazilian town, yeah, with a special design scene and a lot of public goodies, yeah, which are really interesting for us. Then we have in Ireland Dundee, we have Helsinki, and in Italy Torino since December. Yeah, and of course, this is for our department very interesting because, as you saw before, if you want to be a city of design, you have to involve education, and that's the reason I am involved since 2008, 9 in those activities. And just after when they told us we are now City of Design, this is me and my colleague, we said City of Design means that we need more design departments, study programs at the university, at our university. And I want to show you now the first project we did with the Cities of Design. At that time, we had only 5 or 6 Cities of Design. And what you see here is now a student work. It's a short movie about the Cities of Design 5, 6 years ago.
at your place. You can stay at your place. You can be the way to love yourself. You can play with the groove. You can be the hero of yourself.
So, this was actually the first project we did with the City of Design, because the head of the creative industries, who was somebody like the pusher of the design city, came to our exhibition design study program and asked me, would you like to send your students out in these cities? I have some money left. Would they like to go to Montreal, to Buenos Aires, to Kobe? And of course, the students did like it, and they went there, two or three people to one city, and afterwards they prepared an exhibition to present the design cities in an exhibition in the design month. Yeah? And this was one of the projects. This was a movie about all the cities, done by one of our students. And since that time, we cooperate in a very intense way. And I would like to show you some of the projects now, that you can imagine what we are doing with the City of Design. I would say, very important project is the competition design month. Every year in the 5th semester bachelor program information design is a briefing from the head of the creative industry Styria, and they are looking for a group of 3 students who invent the all corporate design of the design month every year, and it every year changes. And this was 2000, I think it was 2009, and as you can see, in 2010 the students won the Red Dot Award with this corporate design. And here you can see they forming the totally design line, yeah, from invitation to the magazine, T-shirts, yeah, all those stuff. And these 3 people who win the competition, they get an internship at the creative industries. They earn 1,000 euros per month, each of them, and they stay there at the office of the creative industries, and yeah, totally involved in the design month. Yeah. These bags are very famous in Graz. Yeah, this is the design. It's the festival hall. Okay, so these competitions is one. The second important are the so-called University of Applied, as a FH lectures in the design month. And what you can see here is, I think some of you know Stefan Sackmeister. And I brought this guy to the design festival and in our institute, just sending him an email, yeah, and said, would you like to come to Graz? Okay. I think half an hour later, he mailed me back and said, it's a pleasure to visit Graz. And I said about the costs, I thought you cannot pay him, yeah, but it's not too expensive. It's really 2,000 euros for the all. We had him 2 days and we could do with him what we want. Yeah? He gives lectures with my students. He had a lecture in a performing performing venue on the Schlossberg. It's really, you will see the photos, with 950 people watching him. And yeah, the only expensive was the first class ticket, business class ticket, because he's 2 meters high. And this is really expensive, I have to tell you, New York, Graz, yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is the venue. We had 950 people watching a lecture. It's so incredible, yeah. And they have paid, because our students didn't pay, but the other people paid 5 euros for the lecture. In 2003, we had lectures about cultural capitals and events. This is Ulrich Fuchs. He was the co-intendant from cultural capital Marseille, and Tibor Urin from Košice, because Košice in Slovakia was the second town in that year. And Jörg Sümann is the inventor of the DMY festival in Berlin, yeah, in the old airport. Yeah. And very important projects are on the exhibitions. This is the Nagoya Design Meets Graz exhibition. Every time now in October, November, when the semester is starting, we go there with, we go in design cities with about 15, 17 students. This year we shall go to Shanghai. Last year we have been in Montreal. Before we have been in Nagoya. And there's always a workshop between students from that city with our students, yeah, and professors from the town. And this Nagoya project was also awarded with a Red Dot Award in 2014. And this is the exhibition built by 2 exhibition design master students. It was their master work, yeah, to build the exhibition and also making a documentation about that. This is Eriko Esaka. It's the head of the creative industries in Nagoya. Yeah, here are some impressions. This year we had, not last year, sorry, we had 2015, the design lectures in the Kunsthaus with Elga Voto. Elga Voto, the topic was about animation and virtual worlds. Elga Voto is one of the Disney company animation designer. And maybe you know Laszlo Solt-Bordos is one of the greatest mapping artists worldwide, I would say, because he does mapping in Dubai on the Eiffel Tower. Yeah, he's really very, very interesting guy. And this project is the Saint-Étienne Design Meet Graz exhibition, so we have been in design also. This is the exhibition in the design hall, design venue. And this exhibition about Saint-Étienne went back to Saint-Étienne and was shown also there. Yeah. Then our students, we have also projects, or I would say we are involved in projects in the city, yeah? Like city development, Jakoministraße. Jakoministraße, it's in the center of the town, and it's an old street where all the shops have gone away, yeah? And now they try to bring people there with shops and young artists, and it's called the running track Jakoministraße, this red color, and they gave money to young designers. They paid about 50% in the first year for renting an appartement, the second year 40%, and 30% in the third year. And they try to regenerate the street. And former students of us, when they finished their studies, they went there and started shops and agencies. Like here, it's a group of us, of our students, Stephanie and Isabel. They made a project about the Styrian bean, this very big bean. They made an exhibition about the big bean, and you see, it's nice product design, I would say, very typical Styrian product design. Yeah. And very important was when they built the Kunsthaus in 2003. The right side of the river, of our river, of the river Mur, was a site where no bourgeois people ever wanted to live. You know, I have colleagues from the university. They say, "Are you crazy guy? You are living on the right side of the river. It's only for proletarian people, and people from other countries, but not for Graz people." And then they put the Kunsthaus there because the Kunsthaus could not be built on the other side because it's a cultural heritage. So it's on the other side, and the result was that we have a lot of city development around this Kunsthaus. We have something like a really young scene of people with a lot of shops, with a lot of nice restaurants. Yeah, similar to the center of Ljubljana, but maybe not so clean. It's more subculture maybe. You see the Kunsthaus, and on the right side you see this Onomato. This is also a company of young former students of us. Yeah, then every year in May we have also the so-called Landwirbel. It's something like a land, it's the part of the town, and Wirbel, it's something like a wind. And we have 1 week like a street party. It's a very, very funny time at that time. And these are students from us. They are involved in those projects because we say go out and work together with the people. This is Eberhard Schrempf. It's the head of the creative industries, who was responsible for the title, to get the title, City of Design. This is a very nice installation about what people do with bread, because the artist took it from people throw it away, and they took it and built this very nice artwork. Popular folklore, concert. And the result for our, I would say, tourismus manager and our politicians, it's now, okay, we have in 2002, 600 overnight stays. This was really pushed in the culture capital year from 600,000 to 840,000. And this year, I think it's 1 million or just 909. So it's pushing again. And so everybody is happy, and maybe, yeah, they start to invest more in cultural things, yeah. I come to my conclusion, yeah. For me, it's a really win-win situation between universities and the city. And you students know, of course, that we are in Erasmus system and you can change, yeah, in Europe. But we started now to have partnerships with every design city. Yeah? And in the last 3-4 years, I arranged partnerships with Shanghai, with Shenzhen, yeah, with Kobe, with Nagoya. So our students are also able to go there, and students from these towns come also to Graz. This I like really very much, and also for the teaching staff, it's nice to have this exchange possibilities. And yeah, this is really cool. Very important for us is that there's really practice projects, yeah, in Graz and with the network cities. So the students don't work for me or for my, just to put it in an archive. They are really out in the public and are involved in projects which are in public space or in museums or in venues in the city. Very important, the international change, I told you, in a global dimension. And of course, we have more jobs for our former students, yeah, because it's a little bit more dynamic than it was before. Very important is that our students, our former students, are really deeply involved in the development of the creative quarters, because they live there, they have their agencies there, their offices. Of course, we know we also have in Graz this process of gentrification, yeah, and we have some investors investors came to our young people and told them, okay, you can stay there, it's a very low rent, and afterwards they throw them out, yeah, because it's now expensive to rent, yeah. But okay, we should develop it. And I think at least the network idea to learn from each other fits for cities and students. And I had the pleasure in the last years to travel in all these 10 design cities and have contacts there and speak with the people. And it's really, for me, very important, yeah, to get those impressions from these countries and cities, because they are so different, yeah, to the situation in Graz, because we are in a very privileged situation in Graz, and the world is it's very different, I would say, yeah. Okay. Danke. Thank you.